Okay, hello everyone. Yes, and I'm very happy to see you guys today. Yes, and our group today is group six. Yes, and our group have 6 members. Firstly, let's greeting the members in our groups. Yes, okay. Hello, Miss Chang. How are you today? Hello, Miss Chang.
I'm great.
You're
Yes, thank you
great.
for asking me.
Okay.
I'm great, but has a little busy today.
Yes, okay. Yes, and okay. The topic today in our group is differences and similarity in parliament between the US and the UK. And how about you, Miss Chang? Are you interested in this topic in the politics?
Honestly, I'm not interested in this topic, but I think we should learn how is this work.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, I think it's useful for our knowledge. Yes, and I think most of women they are not really interested in politics, right? Yes, like you. Okay, how about Miss Nhung? How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, Miss Nhung, are you interested in politics?
Honestly, I pay a little attention on policy by reading news or listening the television.
Oh, yes, that is good. Yes. Um, and okay, how about Mr. Tai? Hello, Mr. Tai, how are you today?
Yeah, today I'm a little bit tired because of my work. Yeah, I work about more than 10 hours a day. Yeah.
Oh, yes, me too. Yes. And how about Miss Samali? How are you today, Miss Samali? You look a little bit nervous. What's wrong with you? Are you okay?
Good, but in my house is rain a lot.
Oh, yeah, it rainy. Yes, okay. Try to speak louder. Okay. Yes, and the last, Miss 13. How are you today, Miss 13?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, and today we are going to discuss about the differences and similarity in parliaments between the US and UK. Yes, and as we know, US and UK are two the most power countries in the world, right? Yes, and I think it is useful topic for us to have a more knowledge about politics to the most powerful countries in the world. Yes, and let me introduce about the main content of the presentation today. Yes, our presentation will have 4 parts. Yes, firstly, that is art about the problem. Secondly, about the similarities in parliament between the US and UK. And thirdly, that is the differences in parliament between US and UK. And the last, that is the comments for this presentation. Yes. And let's move on the first part of this presentation. Okay, the first part of this presentation that is about us about the problem. Okay, and in this slide, I will provide for us about the definition of parliament. Okay, parliament, that is parliament, the parliament of some country. For example, in Britain and America, that is the group of people who make a change, make and change the laws and decide what policy the country should follow. And I summarize the function of parliament on the slide. Yes, you guys can see on it. The parliament, it is the highest representative body. Yes, and it has a mainly legislative function. And the last, the parliament exists alongside the government and the courts. And that is the definition of parliament. Uh, and Parliament is the most important in a country. Yes, and with parliament we will have 3 branches of government. Uh, this is firstly it is a legislative branch. legislative plan that is mess up of the House and Senate, and now collectively at the Congress and House of Representatives. Yes, and the main function of legislative that is make laws. Okay, they create laws. Okay, for a country. Yes, and secondly, that is executive branch. Executive branch. This part has the main function that is they carry out laws. Besides legislative, they make law. Executive branch, they will have the responsibility to carry out the laws. And the executive, they include three include three things, three people. That's a president, vice president, and cabinet. And this branch is responsible for enforcing the laws of the land. And the last that is judicial branch. Judicial branch that's in charge of deciding the meaning of laws and how to apply them to real situation, and whether a law breaks the rules of the Constitution. And this parts include two bodies, Supreme Court and other federal courts. Yes, and I have just introduced for us about the parliament as well as three branches of government in two countries, UK and US. And now let's move on the next slide with the similarity, the second part, that is similarity in parliament between the US and the UK. Yes, and now, Mr. Tin, how about you? Let's show the presentation for us about the similarity in parliament between the US and the UK.
Okay, thank you. I think there are two similarities between the US and UK parliament. The first, in the organized parliament, US and UK parliaments, according to the bicameral, and bicameral consists of two houses. The upper house, also known as the House of Lords, and lower house, also known as the House of Commons. Often, the members of the two chambers are elected or selected by different methods. This can often lead to the two chambers having very different composition of members. The main business of parliament takes place in the two houses. And generally, the decisions made in one house have to be approved by the other. And the second, sorry, can you next slide, please?
Okay, yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
and the second, US and UK parliaments have two basic power and function, to legislative power and supervisory power. Legislation power such as make and change laws and debate the important issue of the nation. A bill is a proposal for a new law or a proposal to change an existing law that is present for debate before Parliament. So a central role of Parliament is to make new laws as well as making changes to existing legislation. And supervisory power. One of Parliament's main roles is to examine and challenge the work of the government and check and approve government spending through questioning minister, debating and committee work. Yes, I think that is similar with in Parliament between US and UK.
Oh, yes, that's so interesting. I think it's a very good and enough information for us to recognize the similarity between similarity in US and UK, right? Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tin, so much. Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
now, yes, let's move on the thirdly part of the presentation today. That is the differences in parliament between the US and UK. Yes, okay, how about Miss Chang? Yes, Miss Chang, let's tell us about the differences in parliament between US and UK.
Yes, the most difference in the parliaments between US and UK. First of all, it is the form of government in US and UK. In UK, the form of government is parliamentary system, but in US, it is president system. In the parliamentary system of UK, the prime minister is a head of government. The prime minister is the leader of the party with the majority of seats of the House of Commons. And the president in the usage is a head of the state and the government. The president is directly elected by the electoral college and holds significant executive power. Another thing is in the UK's parliament system, they collective the responsibilities. The cabinet composed of the senior minister and collectively responsible for the government policy. But in the US, the separation of power is the executive, legislative, and the judicial branches are independent and have checks on each other power. The third thing is the functions of power. The executive of the UK is mean the prime minister and cabinet is a part of legislature, leading to a close relationship between the two branches. But in the US, it's called fixed term. The president and the member of Congress serve a fixed term, providing the stability, but also potential for the gridlock. The last thing is accountabilities in the US. In the UK, the government is directly accountable to the House of Commons, which they can remove it through a vote of no confidence. But in the US, with the president's of system, they can checks and balance. The president can vet legislation, but the Congress can override a vet with the two-thirds majorities in the both houses. Yes.
Okay. Yes, and another differences between the US and UK, that is the election in US, UK. Okay, Miss Chang, continue with the election in US and UK.
I talked it before.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
And how about yes, I would like to did you add some information about the election in US and UK? Did you add some information about the election in US and UK, right? Or you add it, okay? Right, okay. Now, let's move on the next slide with term of parliament and structure of the two houses. Okay, how about Mr. Tai? Let's show the presentation for us, okay?
Yeah, like you can see on screen, like in the US, the House of Commons consists of 659 members, of which England has 529 members, Wales 40 members, and Northern Ireland 18 members. In the UK, the House of Representatives has 435 official representatives from the 50 states.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes, how about the power structure between parliament with the government?
Yeah. Why the U.S. Is a rigid separation of powers. Basic characteristic that there is no clear separation of the powers between the executive and the legislature. The UK is a flexible separation of power, characterized by a clear separation of powers and mutual restraint and balance between the legislature and the executive. Yeah.
Okay, yes. And you have a short present for us about two term of parliaments. Yes, and let me add some information about these differences between the US and the UK. Yes, and we know the transition of power from the previous to the new president in the US take more than 3 months. And while in the UK, the previous prime minister evacuates the 10 Downing Street within hours after losing the elections, just some hours, right? And some more information. Unlike Britain, where the Prime Minister and his cabinet are answerable to the Parliament, the US President is not questionable by the Senate. However, any new law or regulation signed by the President has to be passed through the Senate. Yes, and UK Parliament may pass vote of no confidence to dissolve the government. US Congress cannot do so. Yes, I have just add some information about the differences between Parliament in US and UK. And next slide with the another differences, that is a legislative power of Parliament. Okay, how about Miss Samali? How about you? Let's tell us about the legislative power of Parliament between US and UK.
Yes, hello everyone. Next, I would like to about legislative power of Parliament in U.S. Article 1 of the United States Constitution of 1797 based on legislative powers of the United States federal government to Parliament. In UK, most bills are in the TA and drafted by members of the government and submit it to the House of Representatives for discussions and approvals, and then sent it to the Senate.
Okay.
Some information. The legislative power is held by the Congress, while the executive powers are with the President. The U.S. President specifies the name of his wife, Secretary of State, and order is before the elections. This enforcement cannot be the elected congressman.
Okay, good job, Miss Samali. Thank you. And okay, the last differences between Parliament in US, UK. Okay, how about Miss Nhung? How about let's tell us about the legislative power between two houses of Parliament.
Yes, the legislative power between two houses of Parliament in U.S. is how a Parliament has the power to introduce the legislation on any matter. Each house has the power to vote against legislation passed by the other house. And in UK, any bill that the House of the Representatives has passed formally will certainly become law. The Senate seems to be the most symbolic institution, powerless and just a formality. And move on to the last part of this topic. We will now about the comments on the British and American bicameral system. In US, the United States Parliament is truly powerful. Congress also function as the check and balance on other branches of the government, and in UK, the increasingly interference of the government in the work of Parliament has contributed to making the British Parliament less powerful than it was in its early days.
Yes, a very good, Miss Nhung. Thank you for showing us about the last part of the topic today. Yes, and our group have just present about the topic today. Yes, and I think it's a good enough information for this topic. Yes, and thank you everyone so much. Goodbye. See you.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
You.
Okay.